Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 49 of the What the Sheep podcast, where all of us, will be discussing, breaking down, and 100% freaking out over Critical Role Campaign 2, episode 140. As always, joining me today is Alana, and returning is Maya and Phil at long last. We have Maya and Phil once again. I am so happy to have you both back on, and I cannot wait to hear all of our thoughts on the absolute insanity that was this episode. This episode delivered. I don't know how y'all were feeling, but like for me, like Alana and I kind of talked a little bit about this last week. How it didn't, like, I wasn't there yet. I wasn't fully feeling that this was the final fight yet. Like, there was a weird disconnect. But as soon as we saw that map and we saw that mini, I was like, oh, this is it. This is actually it. So what did we think about? This was the last battle map. This was the last battle map of the campaign, and I think it's probably the best one. Easily. What do we think?
It was concerning. It was a terrifying battle map.
Yeah.
The fact that he used what appeared to be like a lava underlay for the flesh underlay
it was so
is like
cool.
Those two together are scary. But yeah, whenever he's just got a bunch of different spots and places everywhere, the fact that those pieces can break apart and move, it's just like, oh, this is gonna be exciting. And I mean, for the most part, they could fly for the start, so you knew there was gonna be some kind of aerial bullshit happening. And yeah, that was very exciting and terrifying. And then the mini itself was just, oh god, it's too much.
The bits that scared me were the bulbous bits. There was like a bulbous bit with a door on. I was like, why has it got a door on? There's something going to come out of that door. Why is it bulbous? Is it going to expand? I don't like that. Stay the fuck away from that thing.
You know what else about the mini is it kind of, maybe I'm crazy, kind of looked like a peacock. Like his body and then all the flesh bits fucked up peacock.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's a really good point. Huh.
He was kind of a bit like a peacock the battle before when he had all the eyes behind him. I was saying the eyes look like a peacock fantail. Yeah.
I like carrying that theme over. I don't know if anyone has played StarCraft or seen anything about StarCraft, but I was getting a lot of like Kerrigan vibes, because Kerrigan has those like massive like skeletal bone wings, and I was just thinking of that whenever I was looking at the mini. It was really cool, and I saw a lot of people were saying that the mini last week was comparable to like a Final Fantasy boss, I think, or something like that. And then this week, I think someone said it was like almost like a copy paste of a Kingdom Hearts boss, I think.
Very Square Enix. Whatever happened, it was very Square Enix. The transitions to different forms and very anime.
Without going too far ahead, there was a moment when I thought he was gonna do another form. It turned out not to be.
Final form.
Yeah,
I was like, another one! Like, I was so scared. I like froze. I was mid-tweet and I was
like, 3 whole episodes of combat. Oh man.
Keep going. I would have been happy to. No, they would have.
Then it really would have been Kingdom Hearts then.
Yeah.
Literally. 22nd form.
Jeez, but it's, hey, I mean, sometimes that's the way it is. But I think one of the terrifying things about this map is when the Somnovum eyes started popping up, and the cast was like, he is this whole map. Like, we can't hide anywhere. And I was like, oh shit. That is highly concerning. But it added.
Marine Lair came in clutch.
Hey,
I'm sorry, but like, that's the only place they could hide on the whole fucking map.
Yeah, literally. Like, they memed a lot. They memed on Travis a lot with Marine Lair and stuff. But that Marine Lair, and like Travis seems to be the butt of a lot of jokes.
Yeah,
but Travis, I think, got the most vindication out of anyone this campaign, because not only did Marine Lair come in clutch, but the ring of fire resistance probably saved Jester for a couple rounds.
Yeah. Thank
that was epic.
God.
I'm glad she remembered it. With that bit when she's like, "Oh, I didn't do that on the last go," and you're like, yeah. Have you not been watching chat? Going,
and then
fire resistance.
But Matt was like, "Yeah, take it back." Like that was very.
Yeah.
That was a nice GM moment because that would have
It
gotten
was.
so much worse. Had she was down to I think 11 before she realized that she could save against those things. So that was, that was close. That was really. I mean, she'd already been down at this point. So
Right.
Yeah.
Because you know, in a
conversation between Travis and her, when he's like, "How many points have you got?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
11.
Watching all those
Totally
little
missed that.
conversations.
Oh God.
No, but the eyes reappearing. Just dumb brain me. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. At least the eyes are gone. Like we're safe now from the eyes.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be Lucian attacking them. Nope, 3 pop up every turn. Correct me if I'm wrong. We still don't know what Miramis did. Am I right?
I don't remember.
I think they succeeded on Miramis again.
No, because didn't Yasha fail? Didn't it target Yasha? Because when it targeted, I think it might have.
Someone tell me, because I was writing them down, and I got to Miramis at the end. I was like, I still don't know what Miramis does. I just want to know. I know it's probably like excitement or something, but chat, please save me if we know what Miramis actually did.
While we're waiting for chat, you know what was clutch as fuck was Essek tying 2 of them together so that when one went down, the other went down.
Huge.
Yes.
Bro.
Yeah.
That was like I know what'll work.
Mm-hmm. Essek was kind of pulling through in a way that no one else was this episode.
Boy.
He was
Purple
he was on fire. He was the hot boy. He was on fire. He was on fire last night.
I'll tell you something I noticed last night. The chat seemed to be very well moderated after the last few weeks. There's been some really cancerous, rancid, horrible comments. And they sometimes slip through and you're like, oh, who wrote that? And then other people react to it and go, how dare you do this? This is Critical Role. It's their game. They can do what the fuck they want. Who are you? And arguments start in chat, which just makes it worse. But there was a comment left last night. I think it was about Laura and it was something sexual. And I started to read it and it went, boom, disappeared, deleted by a moderator. And I was like, oh, well done, mods. Excellent. Very nice to see that. But also the community itself was kind of self-policing itself and not making those jumps to ridiculous conclusions that go wildly out of control sometimes.
I can't keep up with Twitch chat. That's impressive.
No.
It's way too fast for me, so I just never
I
really
always have
bother
it
with
closed. Like either I'm full screen or if I'm not full screen, I'm in like I like click the little arrow. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I don't need this.
I flick between it. It's like I see something. I wonder if chat's talking about that. Oh, they are. Yeah, somebody said that. Yeah, I agree with you.
Eagle eyes.
The only time
pretty
I look at
much.
chat is
Whenever I look at chat, it's just like a spam of emojis or something. Yeah.
If something funny happens, I look at chat because I want to see how people are reacting to it. But for anything else, I'm like, I don't trust it. I'm not touching it. No.
Totally relate to that. But going back to Lucian, obviously, you know, Lucian is, you know, easily like my favorite, might be my like favorite character of this campaign. You know, even stemming from like Mollymauk, I would include Mollymauk in Lucian being my favorite character and stuff, just because, or I guess favorite villain would be a better way to put it. But some of I loved the mechanics of this episode in this combat. They were so cool. It felt so unique. And some of the things that Lucian was capable of, he showed in the first, you know, his first turn. The summon cataclysm. Well, all of them had really cool names. It was Will Ether, Summon Cataclysm, and Nightmare Cage. My God.
Yeah.
I heard Summon Cataclysm and I thought that it was gonna be something like Meteor Swarm.
Yeah.
Meteor Swarm.
Oh my God, it was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody said the same. It's like, it's going to be a meteor swarm. It's going to be a meteor storm. It's like, no, not quite.
Yeah, that was really concerning.
Is that like an actual like spell? I guess that was probably homebrew.
Meteor Swarm? Isn't that what Raishan did?
Or no, the Summon Cataclysm.
No, it's it's like
I think it's homebrew.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's getting it from 3rd or 4th edition and adapting it to 5th.
But But you're right, like the kind of added elements to this battle was really cool. The fact that they were able to shape aspects of the battlefield to their
So good.
to their advantage and try to then use it to affect Lucian was cool. The stuff they came up with was like amazing, and it sucked when it didn't work, but it was still cool to see.
Yeah.
And like I loved Bo trying to get the dome to turn to a circus tent and envelop Lucian, and that's really hard to do, but it's really cool. Yeah, no,
huge props to Liam for being the one who was like, "Hey, what if I did this?"
Yeah. But what struck me as interesting is I was like, fuck yeah, Caleb, that is badass, especially opening it with the fucking glaive that killed Molly in the first place. That was so poetic and so cool. Wow. But I was getting a little concerned because it seemed like Caleb was really relishing in this idea of being able to form things and create things and bend things to his will. And I was like, okay. It got me a bit worried because in the pregame hype stream before the episode aired, a chatter named Cinder said, "What if we have a Wrath of the Lich King moment where there must always be a Nonagon? So when they defeat Lucian, someone has to take their place." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh God, what if Caleb like volunteers himself to take that place?"
I hadn't thought of that. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Like it's the fight's over. Lucian said we don't have to worry about it. But
don't worry. Now it's just fun panic to think about in the aftermath.
Yep.
The thing that had me scared from the minute it started, almost up to the very end, the point that this fear will have radically diminished, was Molly knew the Mighty Nine. He knew all of their skill sets, their capabilities, and that knowledge was passed to Lucian, and Lucian targeted each of them to negate their skills. Like Veth, he slowed her so that she couldn't use Uncanny Dodge, or she could only use an action or reaction. It was like completely neutralized a rogue's abilities. Then he attacked the clerics, as we know, really, really hard and didn't give up.
Strategy.
This is dreadful. He's just going through them one by one and neutralized. Yasha being in that nightmare for, was it 2 or 3 rounds?
Yeah. I feel so bad for Yasha.
Stop messing with Yasha, please, Matt. That was
one of those fucking magic. Oh, sorry. Go.
The other thing that had me really scared was that and I don't know if this is just me, but I was convinced for a long time, probably based on Molly, that there was a traitor among them, kind of touching on the Caleb. Is Caleb gonna switch thing? And I've been worried for ages that there's some kind of backstory plot that Caleb and Matt or somebody have got together and said, yeah, when we get to this last episode, I'm going to stab them all in the back and then I'll become the bad guy and they have to fight me. And Matt's like, yeah, excellent, we'll go for it.
Oh, God.
And I'm very glad that I was wrong.
Me too, Phil.
Oh, no, they're going to fight Caleb. Oh, I really don't want that to happen.
Phil, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Sir! That was just in your head? Oh my God.
Yeah, for the entire thing I was thinking like, oh no, this is the bit where Caleb's going to turn. Oh God, could it be Ford instead? Oh,
have some faith.
Jester? They can't possibly, none of them could actually deal a killing blow to Jester. Oof.
I see chat talking about like all the clutch moments and preparations that came in. So we had like the mind blank, the protection from aberrations, the hero's feast, but I think MVP of them all was that death ward for Caduceus.
Oh, that was combat changing. If Caduceus had died there,
that was it.
Yeah,
I think like Caleb had that thing he could do with his stone, but that's like a one-time thing, right? So they would have had no one else,
and that's an hour to cast, so that's not like a quick thing.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Okay. They would have been fun. I was texting my friend who doesn't watch Critical Role. She just knows that I'm panicking. She was like, I was texting her and she was like, so did anyone die? And I was like, yeah, yes.
Or it's like someone asks you, it's like, yo, so who died last night? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh God, it was so stressful.
No, there was so many good moments of preparation and planning going into effect. Like they were the advantage on wisdom saving throws helped them a lot. And I see people saying Marine Layer as well was super clutch. Just the way that they were able to, it felt really felt really nerve-wracking in the middle when Jester went down, because it's like, ooh, like whenever someone goes down, obviously they have the means to bring them up, but it's going to affect the flow of combat. It's going to affect their tactical kind of advantage of, staying on top of the enemy. But they did really well, even getting absolutely flung across the battle map. They did really well.
You know what gave me a heart attack?
Yeah.
When Jester was getting resurrected and Matthew fucking Mercer was like,
"Oh my god!"
And you wonder, I wonder why it didn't work. And I was standing on my chair.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? It was.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then she starts breathing, and I was like, oh my.
That's not cool. That was really not cool.
No, it's very cool. It's exceptional storytelling ability to be able to do that. I love players, but I can't string it out as long as Matt does. And like, and you think it's failed, but then she breathed.
Oh my god! Like I love hate you, Matthew Mercer.
Exactly.
The other bit though, when it actually happened, whenever there's been a death before, he usually gives the player the opportunity, like he did with Molly, of like, what are your final words to the world, and he gives them some kind of conclusion to it. He didn't do that with Jester, and he's like, and Jester is slain, and I was like, what, slain? You can't possibly mean slain. Surely you just mean downed. No,
didn't
slain.
He only do that with Molly though? I think he only did that with Molly, because like when Caduceus got exploded from Not's arrow, he just So I think it was just I thought it was just a thing he did for Molly because he knew that they wouldn't have access to a resurrection spell at their level and where they were. I thought that was why he did it, but I don't know for sure. Obviously, who knows the inner workings of that man's mind?
True, but it would also make like kind of like narrative sense just to put even more weight and pressure on the situation. Because let's say Matt usually did allow the players to do last words and stuff, but in this moment, because it's but because it's it's a high stakes final battle and stuff, just to reinforce how easily it could be that one of them dies, just having them just die, like you see Jester, she's just lifeless now. All right, next turn, and it's just like there's no. He wasn't giving them a chance to like take it in, because that's how it would be if they were actually there in the fight. Someone dies, it's like you don't have time to dwell on the fact that they just died. You got to do what you can to save them, but you gotta keep moving.
I think also too with Molly, it was Lorenzo was actually giving Molly a chance, because it was like he was like and then
he was being a dick.
Yeah, he's being a bucko.
That you think you would be happy to sacrifice for the greater good simply because it's the final battle and they have to defeat it? Because we went through the list and we were like, well, it can't be Ford, it can't be Jester, it can't be Bo, it can't be Yasha, it can't be Caleb. But I suppose it could be Caduceus. Yeah, we could do without Caduceus, and everybody kind of settled on Caduceus. If we had to lose one, who would you choose?
Hell group,
blasphemy.
It's my
terrible.
But if we didn't have, if Caduceus died, we wouldn't have had
I know, but at the time we didn't know that, and we were like, yeah, Caduceus, he doesn't do anything important. We can get rid of him, sure.
I feel personally attacked.
I couldn't choose one of the others over Caduceus, and it was only because Caduceus isn't an original character. He was obviously replaced. So
my choice for those sorts of things, because Nico and I have spoken about it many times, of like, what if someone has to sacrifice themselves to save the party? I think our choices always fall down to which one would hurt the most, rather than which would be the most appropriate. For me, it's always been like Ford, because even though like I don't know, like Jester would suck the most, because
Ford's death would hurt them in a surprising way.
Yeah.
They
I don't think they
realize how much kind of influence and wisdom and I don't want
to
talk about
they rely on his presence.
No, we're happy. We're too happy right now.
Happy ending achieved. Everyone shut up.
No, but my whole thing with it, Ford dies, because the meaning behind if Ford dies, the meaning behind if Ford dies is that he would die by sacrificing himself. He would die in a heroic manner where he was saving his family. Because I don't see Ford as being one who just like randomly dies, like, oh, you just took a bunch of damage randomly and now you're dead. It'd be him like putting himself in between the danger and his family and making sure they got out safely. That's what I was worried about. I was also worried about that with Essek, because Essek kind of hinted at last episode when they were doing their like pre-final battle pep talk. He kind of made it seem like he was going to be willing to sacrifice himself to redeem himself in his own eyes.
That definitely seemed more likely. But as you said before, Essek was awesome in this fight. I think before, Matt has been playing him a lot as that kind of supporting NPC. He's just been doing like a lot of magic missiles, a lot of long range damage spells, but I felt like he really felt like an actual member of the Mighty Nine, an actual party member in this fight. Especially like him spending his fortune's favor to help Caleb. Like it was, and like Lucian was on them kind of at that point. So it was really
Shadow gas dance.
Yeah. Yes.
I really like seeing Essek use magic missile at a higher level. It's often a spell that many magicians just kind of forget. It's like, no, it's a low level thing, but you cast it at 5th level.
It hits pretty hard when you use it at a higher level.
4 plus 7, that can add up.
Anime fucking bullets go. It's
and it's an automatic hit, so you don't need to worry.
It's the best. And
it's pretty good.
But can we talk about the hey Nico, can we talk about Essek and the Caleb and the thing and the
we don't talk about Shadowgast on this.
No,
we're
okay, that's fine. I respect that.
No one in the Discord wants to talk about Shadowgast.
No, of course. We love Shadowgast.
Fellas, is it gay? If you drag your acquaintance from beneath a tower with your bare hands when you're a wizard and your strength is probably -1, fellas?
Is it gay? Is it gay when you look longingly into the other person's eyes and you boop foreheads together, in face life or death in front of you?
I liked that bit where he touched foreheads with him and then we went back to it. There were numerous little bits like that I thought that's really sweet. I like the bit when Essek. After they'd tried to bring back, who was it they were bringing back? But he walked away.
Was
it Jester or Caduceus? I don't want to skip ahead. We'll get there in a bit. But when he walked away, he's like, "Is that it? I'm disgusted." I really liked that role play from that.
Me too.
I want to spend time on talking about that.
So let's not go on now. I will say that's what broke me. I, for some reason, despite being a very emotional person, I don't cry when watching like stuff most of the time, but that made me tear up, and I was like, "Wait, do that."
I think we went through that. Our chat went really quiet at that point, and I was like, "Is everybody still there?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're here." I was like, "Okay, you're feeling the same as I am, and all a bit teary at the moment."
And what was interesting for me about this fight was, in the earlier parts of the fight, I honestly wasn't too worried about what Lucian was capable of, because he had the summon cataclysm, but it didn't seem to do too terribly much. And obviously Nightmare Cage is pretty hindering if it actually is able to be pulled off. But what was so concerning is that the eyes were just Ira and Fastadan were just chunking the party round after round, because they were part of the the legendary actions / layer actions, where it was like after everyone went, like another eye was just beaming people, and that was rough, especially because it was like a good hour and a half, 2 hours into the combat, and I was somewhat keeping track of the damage Lucian was taking, and it was only like 150, and like the party was hurting, and I was like, this is not looking good at all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
That I probably could look up in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
We've got our chat here. They're
So I thought that when you take necrotic damage and you take more than, like, if you're at 5 hit points and you take 10 necrotic damage, doesn't that kill you immediately? Isn't that a thing? No?
It might be a homebrew.
Because that's what happened to Vex in Campaign 1.
That was a specific spell.
Yeah, that was Finger of Death that turns you to dust, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah.
So
there are specific spells that deal necrotic damage, and if they drop you to 0, they kill you. But necrotic damage itself doesn't do that.
So I watched that episode in senior year of high school. I'm now going to be a senior in college. The last 4 years, I thought if you take damage below 0 with necrotic damage, you die immediately.
Terrified.
I was so scared. I was so scared.
Oh god, yeah. Because Facidan's doing like 50 necrotic damage each turn. Facidan's gonna single-handedly kill everyone.
Okay, good to know.
But one thing that I want to make note, it ended up not, being a thing, but someone mentioned in chat that Jester's banishment on Vigilin was super clutch because that got rid of that anti-magic cone. That was another big game changer and stuff. But I had a thought, I was like, what if like this banishment remains and Vigilin's like stayed there, and then like for campaign 3, like Vigilin like plays a role or something and becomes like an evil, character or whatever, and like something comes of that. Obviously, ultimately didn't, but I was like, oh shit. What if Vigilin's gone and then like down the line something happens?
Yeah, because I saw a lot of discussion on our Discord of saying like Vigilin's different to how they were back on the material plane. So are they now just an aberration and this is their home plane? So banishing them would send them to that little box, or were they banished like to the material plane, like were they banished back to the home plane? So it was kind of like, yeah, if it consider the material plane their home plane, then yeah, that could have been a bit dangerous having just a wandering eyeball.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
You're sitting down for breakfast and fucking like Zadash, and it's just like you hear like a beep when you look out the window, there's a fucking eyeball middle of the street.
Yeah, that's when they spit out their food and go to the chef and wonder what the heck they put in that.
See, that was the common thing that I kept saying to people, is like, it doesn't feel like the end. I think a lot of us did start to fall off the cart. I've seen numerous tweets of people saying like, I don't know what's going on, I don't care, I don't know where they're going, I do care, but I don't care, and it's like, I need something more from it. And it was that concern that we're not getting that conclusion, that dopamine rush from a satisfactory ending to the story. And that we were always looking for clues as to why it wasn't the end. And it's like, well, last time they had the Chroma Conclave and they destroyed Amon, and there was Vecna, and the world was on the brink of destruction. We're not having this time. It's like, how do you know? We're on a different plane of existence. We have no idea what's happening in Wildmount. It could all be on fire as far as we know. But it's trying to overcome that preconception that was fun.
It's got like strong Dudley Dursley vibes of, well, last time we got the Chroma Conclave. We got literally. Like,
oh my god,
this battle's quite a bit bigger than last time.
I saw this really good tweet that was like, no, it's okay. It was like that Vox Machina is like, they're like celebrities, and the Mighty Nine are just like underground heroes.
They're a bunch of fuckers is what they are.
They're just a bunch of fucking what? No one's gonna know. They literally said it. No, it's okay. It's just that they fought something like kind of as big, probably not like quite, but like on a similar level to like Vecna, and they're just not going to be known. I remember seeing Tumblr posts from like years ago that's like, can you guys imagine when the Mighty Nine are famous and everyone's like, these assholes? But they're not. They're not. It fits. It works. I don't know.
It's great. But now I'm just Alana's comment of Dudley Dursley now. Now I'm just going, whenever anyone is like annoyingly like complaining about the cast or Critical Role in general, I'm just gonna imagine them whining as Dudley Dursley. That is just all I picture now.
It's big Dudley Dursley energy. Complaining about someone else's Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yep. Oh my god. Oh, that's so good. Oh my god.
I'm trying to find it and I can't remember which book it's in. I thought it was in the Dungeons Master Guide, but I can't find it.
What are you trying to find?
Oh wait, here it is. Oh no. I lost it. There's a thing in one of the source books, and it essentially says, at this level, this is the amount of renown a group should have.
I remember reading that when I was...
Yeah, it's like level 5, isn't it?
Yeah, so level 5 is like... Oh no, that's Tears of Play. I can't find it. But yeah, there's a thing that says like by level 5 they should be local town heroes. By level 10 it's like on a world scale, on a country scale, like they're well known. And then level 15 is when they start hitting planar levels of recognition. And it's just like, oh, these guys can walk through like Zadash and no one would know who they are.
True.
It's ridiculous. but
that
really
adds
cool.
that adds to like
I love it.
it fits them so perfectly. This low level of renown and stuff. They're the unsung heroes. That's what it's pretty much what they've always been. Like almost all of the things they've done have been like undercover and stuff. They've never been about being in the spotlight. Like I'm trying to think of maybe you could consider the Chantry them being in the spotlight, kind of, but even then, it kind of just they weren't like called there. They were just there for Yasha to save Yasha and stuff.
I'd say them in Roshona, like holding out the beacon and getting recognition from the Bright Queen. But that was also within the council. That wasn't even necessarily in the city.
Oh my god,
like,
guys, they're famous in. They're like an underground band who's famous in one country.
Oh yeah.
Like one country's like, oh, those guys are great. Everyone else is like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is funny. I think we drew this contrast maybe in one of the earlier What the Sheep podcast episodes, but it feels like they're more welcome in the dynasty than the empire. Like it feels like they got a lot more targets on their back in the empire than in the dynasty. Now obviously that might be a little bit different because they might have their own theories and suspicions on the Mighty Nine's involvement with everything, but yeah, it definitely felt like they were safer in the dynasty for a period of time.
Yeah.
I'm curious about if they are even going, like, if Essek gonna, like, are they gonna touch on that in the like finale episode? Like, is he gonna, like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna go back to the dynasty? He can't, right? Like,
I don't know.
I've been thinking about that.
Caleb's tower for the rest of his life. They're just gonna go through the door and we'll never see them again.
Caleb's gonna keep him as like a pet.
Stop!
In my head, that's I was like, he's gonna stay in the tower.
He's gonna put him on. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna stop that train of thought right there.
Yeah.
That's gonna devolve into some Shadowgast fanfic.
All right, let's go back to the battle. Let's
yes. So
it was a big battle. I was
hefty.
Dying for the bathroom, and I was like, God, like
I took my computer with me to the bathroom. I was like, I can't.
I was normally I plug my headphones into my phone, and I was just like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to watch Caleb die while I'm sitting on the toilet. Like, I'm gonna wait.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But there were
4-hour battle. Something like that. It was like 3.5 hours of battle.
The longest first half that they've had.
Yeah. I saw that on Google stats.
Not sure if it's the longest
bananas
battle. I think
I need to go to the toilet. I need to go to the toilet. I can't possibly miss it. Everybody's like, just take your phone to the toilet. It's fine. You're like,
oh, it's right.
Laura
impeded by the need to go for a piss and watch Critical
Laura was literally. I can't believe Laura was literally like, nah, peeing's for the weak. I was like, what? People are gonna get UTIs.
Your fault. There were several moments where I got, like chills from just some of the things that the cast said. Specifically, I love Travis is always such a hype man. Like he knows how to really like set up the hype and stuff. Because back in the battle with in the Chantry, what gave me chills every time and really like puts into perspective like the gravity of the situation they're in. Back in the Chantry when the Laughing Hand was there, Yasha was there, and all of a sudden Oban comes flying out. Travis was like, "This is it, and it just like immediately puts you into that like hype, that heightened hype state. And then it was towards the end of this combat, but when he casted a spell or he did something, and then he like looked over to Essek, he looked over to Caduceus and Jester, and he was like, "This is it, like let's do this, let's finish this." I was like, "Let's go, Travis, let's go."
Yeah. But on the flip side of that with Travis too, because he is like the hype guy. He was also at one point, I think it was Caduceus' turn, and Taliesin was struggling with what to do. He was like saying, "Hey, no, take a break. Like we can think about this.
Travis
we can
is so good.
Get in that moment of adrenaline and that kind of we need to move, we need to go." And I think Matt sometimes too gets in that headspace of we need to go, we need to do this. So it was such a good moment, I think, for everyone watching, everyone at the table, and for Matt just to be like, "Whew, okay, we can take a second, like we can think, we can breathe." It was
like a really good coach.
Yeah.
Like he's really good at getting like the cast and also like everyone watching like super excited and like raring to go and ready to go, but he's also like, hey, it's okay, like take a breath.
Yeah,
you're okay. It literally
was the CEO.
Yeah.
Ideal.
Like he's amazing. The money I would pay. Oh my god, that man is so good. Ugh.
There's a guy here.
What? The money you
the money you pay for what? Maya, finish that.
Okay,
Finish that
I
sentence.
cut myself off. I was gonna say for him to like follow me around for a day and just like be a hype man.
Yeah.
But
you don't want to in this stream with this chat. You don't want to leave anything to to assumptions.
I shouldn't have cut myself off. I got nervous. I was like, that sounds weird, and that sounded weirder because I cut myself off.
Yep.
All right, talk about something else.
Guy, and I didn't choose this name. Obviously, he did. He's called Soggy Pirate, but he said, "Travis is such a kind and compassionate man. When his friends are under pressure, he often tries to take attention off them and keep things calm. He is the kind of man I aspire to be." And I thought, yeah, absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
he's an example to us all.
But back to one of my back to one of my thoughts on Lucian not being as deadly as I initially thought. Earlier in the combat, he wasn't really doing a whole lot himself personally. But then when he decimated Veth with the 6 attacks, I was like, oh no. That like 6 attacks, and as we saw later in the episode, 6 attacks is insta-death for people who are low.
When he was attacking Veth, I remember like typing this like, oh, at least they weren't crits. That would have been bad. And then against Porchester, like
cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song.
How does it feel to be a prophet, Alana?
That's messed up. That's because I think even Veth took like something like 80 something damage from it. 83 maybe, and because
in a boss fight like this and stuff with 6 attacks, like with a plus 12 or even maybe like 15 or something, like they're pretty much all gonna hit unless Matt's rolling like a below a 3 or something. So it's just like guaranteed like 80 damage, maybe even death. Oh, not good. Not good.
I think also too because Veth didn't take any damage in the fight previously against
So of all people to take all of the hits, it's good that it was her.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Tell them that we all saw.
It's my sister. Everyone saw you, dude.
She's
on the floor. Kayla.
You don't have to crawl it.
She's pulling a Q yen. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, totally.
Pulling a Q.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Fine, she's got a nice block.
But like Sam, I think Sam got really, really lucky that fight when he went down. Because I think he went down from Fastadan, I think.
Who are we talking about?
Veth.
Veth.
But I think where she went down, she was like just like out of the range of like Ira's like fireballs that kept like harrowing the party. And so luckily we didn't have a death from Veth, and she was just able to just get kick-started back to life with a heal spell.
Veth, who has died before, so the DC's high.
Yeah, and that's right.
Yeah,
it would have gone to like a 15 or something, right? Because I think it starts at 10, or is it 5?
Yeah, starts at 10.
I can't
goes
remember.
Up 2 points per death.
2 points per death. Okay.
Or does it start at 8? One of the two. Yeah.
The no, that whole fight was clutch with the people going down. I loved Caleb willing Jester's body to Caduceus.
Yeah. And even the him healing her was really cool too.
Yeah, so cool, so creative with what they could do with that possibility.
The way he yelled at Lucian.
Oh, you're killing her.
You're killing her.
God.
You love her and you're killing her.
And here's the other thing. Obviously, when we're watching it, turns are like 10 minutes apart. But thinking about in real time, Caleb teleporting Jester away, screaming, pleading with Lucian. Less than 6 seconds later, Caleb is obliterated and killed in real time.
Yeah.
Caleb's dying words were him pleading for Jester's life.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah, that's real rough.
So
that's real rough.
That was about 5:30, and we were about 2.5 hours in a.m.
Dude.
And I'm like, okay, I'm really tired. I need to go to bed. And I thought, no, I'll just go get another beer. I'll be okay. And I stayed up until 9 a.m. because I watched the entire show and then had some breakdown with friends, trying to assimilate all of the information. And then I watched it again this afternoon. So I've actually watched it twice since it was on.
Damn, Phil.
Just a glutton for punishment.
Next level.
Yeah.
I like hurting myself.
The dedication.
Ridiculous.
Oh my god.
I was freaking out, but I felt confident. I felt like, no, they've got. I felt like, I think they're going to be okay. I was thinking, as long as either one of the clerics survives or even Caleb survives, he could technically do the raise dead a lot of times, which is a bit of a thing. But I was just thinking, like, just keep the clerics up. And then when Caduceus almost went down, I was just like,
yeah, because Jester was dead at that point, right?
Yeah,
that was when I was the most stressed, I think, in the whole battle.
That would have been a moment of, we need to finish it. We can't. There's no quick reses happening here.
You have to finish it like fast, or that's
does
it.
Ford have Revivify?
I don't think so. He's got healing spells. I don't think.
Yeah, he's got healing. So as long as Caduceus didn't die.
But he's not.
But he's a low level paladin, isn't he?
Weird with war stuff.
Yeah, he's like level 3 or 4 in paladin, I think.
I've got a question. Did any of you think that Matt's strategy when deploying his assets against the team was relentless and unforgiving? I remember in the Vecna battle, there was a bit where Vex went down, and he actually looked at it and he says, "You okay? I'm sorry." Or he gives those little winks to Ashley and things like, "It's all right. Come on, it's such a game." He didn't do that last night. He was just like, "I don't care. You're down. Jester is slain. Now, moving on." And I was like, "Well, that's a bit harsh. Where's your humanity gone?" But he was just. It felt to me like he was truly in the moment of Lucian, and he was just going to go, "Yep, you are going to end at this point." He didn't seem to. I'm sure he cared, but he didn't, in character, transpose that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed it.
I think it felt very much like, as you say, he was very much in character as Lucian. The fight itself, like if you compare it to the Vecna fight, one, I think it comes down to that whole idea of, Vox Machina being the heroic party and these guys being the underdog parties. It felt almost as if the Mighty Nine were destined to lose this the whole time. They were like, this is not something we can do. We're going to have to do it to the last man.
And they even
whereas
talked
Vox
about
Machina was like, we win. Well, we're gonna win. So I think it kind of kept on that theme. I didn't really notice if he was checking in with them or not, but I think it was because they were more checking in with each other. And poor Ashley there under the blanket. And
the blanket. Oh my god.
I saw. I think it was on Tumblr. It was like how it started. And it was Ashley looking absolutely gorgeous, and the hair was beautiful. She was in the leather jacket, and then how it's going, and it's her wrapped up in the blanket. Accurate, very accurate of how we are all feeling.
Did you see all the tweets of little old babushkas from Russia or Ukraine somewhere all wrapped up and said, "Ashley, any Russian lady, babushka."
She's like, "Oh god, I'm panicking." Yeah.
But drawing attention back to the moment of Caduceus's almost death, because everyone knew, we know that the party is more or less safe because we have 2 clerics. If one of them goes down, we're still okay. So when Jester went down, it was like, fuck, Jester's dead, but okay, we still have Caduceus. There's still a chance. But then, and the cast knows that as well. But then when Caduceus went down, before we realized there was a death ward, everyone, even Caleb was like, oh fuck,
when I panicked.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
That was our
panicking until then.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if Caduceus goes down, he's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the attacks work. And then what? Until that point, it was like they still have options. When if Caduceus went down, that's like 2/3 of their options gone.
Yeah.
That's when I panicked. I screamed.
Especially if he'd then been actually killed. That would have been there's nothing you can do.
That would have
At
been
the very least, if he went down, you've got Ford can heal, Yasha can heal, and yeah, but
because what would they have? Because if Caduceus died, they would have had to just finish the fight because they don't have any. If
Caduceus had gone down, they might have got him back up, but it would have lost that turn where he was able to revive Jester, who then in turn was able to do that large area healing spell. Which
that was huge.
A few of them helped boost a few of them up.
I think that brought Caleb back up. Yeah.
That brought Caleb back. Yeah, so
it would have been really, really different if Caduceus had gone down. Like maybe maybe they would have been able to do it still, but it would have been.
It would have been down
lot
to
harder.
The last character.
The wire.
Probably,
yeah.
God.
It would have sucked.
Oh, I don't even want to think. I want to think about it.
I just think of Veth standing by herself.
No!
Calling out to Luke and Yeza.
Probably the rest of them have maybe some form of ability to either get them out of there, or at the very least Yasha could extend out to the Stormlord and ask for help. Ford can extend to Melora. Essek and Caleb have teleportation magics. I guess Bo as well. So Bo and Veth, if they were the last ones, they've got no means of getting back. They've got no means of resurrecting or saving their friends. But it didn't happen, so it's all good.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, that even though the event's finished and we know that it has a reasonably happy ending, we're still all living on that edge of fear of oh my God, what if this and what if that? Do you feel that we are incredibly lucky and that the dice are incredibly favoured of the Mighty Nein in order to end up at this circumstance? Because I can't quite believe that the dice favoured us to this result. I'm still in disbelief that it's did that just happen?
I feel like it happens though. That's the the actual.
That's the
the
magic.
weave of D&D in our real world of just sometimes you're oh, I need this. This is a huge hero moment. I got a natural 20. What the hell? It's
Marisha's double nat 20 though.
I believe in anything, but what the hell? That stuff happens.
Also, to be completely honest, having that thought where this is it, this is my big hero moment, and then rolling really low, that also does really cool stuff for the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about D&D that's so but that's the thing, is it you don't the dice are totally fucking inconsiderate. They don't care. They just go.
Yep.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
And to that point, we almost had that at the end of this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's so goddamn cool.
We can't skip ahead. We can't skip ahead.
Yeah.
No,
We've never skipped ahead at any point in this podcast history.
I am on point this episode. No skipping ahead. We need to save for that moment when we get to it.
Yeah, because that's a whole thing. What else about this fight? I mean, obviously the Nightmare Cage stuff was very heartbreaking. Yasha having to kill Zuala.
That was dreadful.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Matt.
And then for Caduceus, watching his family get consumed by, the city was pretty rough. Just visually, because we know it's not there, and they know it's not real, but
they see it.
Yeah.
And for one really, really shit, sorry, Phil. For one really, really shit moment, I thought that after Yasha attacked Zuala, I thought that it wasn't going to be, I thought it was going to keep going. I thought it was going to, she would have cut her down and then she'd just be standing there.
What I was thinking
of her wife, and I was like, please no. And then the teeth came and I was like, I've never been so happy for me.
What I was concerned about was she was going to strike Zuala and then break out of that dreamscape and stuff, and then Matt was going to be like, and you realize you just struck Bo or something.
Fuck.
That's what I was worried about.
That's commonplace in their relationship right now.
True. Yeah. Yeah, they're used to it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was very concerned. But I wonder. It was cool because so in the Vecna fight we had the trammels that they needed to do, to sort of to weaken Vecna in a way where they were able to do away with him and stuff. In this one, it felt like at first it felt like, okay, they just got to focus fire on Lucian, but then they realized that killing the eyes was hurting Lucian as well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe like their hit points were also tied to Lucian, and once they died, that chunk of hit points was then removed from Lucian.
I think so.
And if maybe then, if all 9 eyes were destroyed, maybe then Lucian would have been destroyed, or been substantially weaker. But it added an interesting layer to the fight, where it's like, okay, we don't necessarily have to focus on killing Lucian. We can do collateral damage by destroying these eyes, while it helps us, because as soon as, oh man, I was like cheering in my chair when they killed the Era eye, and then when they finally killed Fastadan.
Yeah,
those two were brutal.
Yeah,
absolutely brutal. It was great.
It's part of what I was thinking, though, is that throughout all of this, Matt was just relentless and dispatching trauma to all of them and tears to all of us.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that we've all had almost terminal fears that could have happened. It's like, I wonder if this will happen, but we haven't had the same ones. So if this is magnified throughout the Critterverse, God knows what kind of possibilities have been suggested into the ether of like, oh, I wonder if this happens, I wonder if this happens. No wonder people are traumatized by this, but have still got the dopamine rush at the end of like,
hell yeah,
I'm glad they survived. How did they survive?
It's D&D, baby. It's D&D. But Leah in chat brings up a good point. The timer that was on this combat, because certain eyes were giving the party extra eyes.
I'm glad it didn't happen, but what would have happened?
But what the heck would have happened? Like, would they have become mind controlled, or would they have turned into a flesh monster?
Instant death?
Yeah.
I think they might have been more easily absorbed into the city, and like they would have.
Yeah.
Oh.
None of it would have been good.
I mean, how do you get back somebody from the city that you get? I mean, like the bag of holding, did they get that back?
Yep.
Yeah.
They were skipping ahead. They did get it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
It's a
just
nice
with a
Yeah.
natural 20, they got it back.
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, I just had this realization. We could ask in the finale thing. What would have happened if one of them got all 9 eyes? I'm gonna submit that to the Google Sheets. Hold on.
That's a good one.
Excuse me a minute.
That is a good one, yeah.
Let me look at my time.
Imagine if Matt's like, that will come up in campaign 3. It's like, what?
Shut up, Matt. God damn it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying like, it can't end now. He hasn't resolved this or this or this or this, and you're like, hang on. There was loads of things in Vox Machina they didn't resolve. And what story have you ever read where everything was tied up perfectly? There's always a follow-on. There's always a sequel. There's always the bad guy comes back to bite them in the ass.
Sometimes that's just how stories work, and like there's a human aspect of us that wants things to be like finished, but it just leaves more space for like other things, I think it both stresses me out and excites me, which is my favorite position to be in when I'm experiencing a story.
And and sometimes it's good. It's almost good storytelling, to leave things unanswered, because then the consumers who are consuming the media or the art form or whatever it is, then have the opportunity to come up with their own endings for the story. However they imagined it ending, they have the full.
It's a very modern storytelling thing for having conclusive endings. Goes back to like older stuff, or even older films, like the early films. A lot of times they were like, "Ooh, how does that actually end? Like, what's going on here?" Or like, I read a lot of Shakespeare, so a lot of Shakespeare is just like, hello, like what? Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that idea of having needing an end is sorry, I'm just seeing in chat someone chatting Alana no, and now I don't know what I said.
You probably said some like angsty shit about someone dying.
Yeah, probably
sounds about right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about like campaign wrap up and like how I feel about the end of the campaign at the end, but I've my feelings towards it have changed in a positive way, I think, because of this episode.
Yes.
So I'm excited
Definitely.
to talk about that.
I definitely have a totally different perspective on the end of this campaign after this episode now. Because we were talking a little bit before the stream, and even last week we were kind of talking about how it doesn't like feel like it's this is it. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's just something missing that's just like it's just not quite there yet. But then this episode really solidified like yes, this is a good ending. This ending makes sense. Everything that the Mighty Nine has gone through, the themes, the thematics of this campaign, the things they've stood for, the things they've gone through, everything, it really is all coming full circle with this fight. And it's even poetic because it's Lucian they're fighting. It's Molly. You know, their old friend.
Felt right. You know?
Yeah.
I also saw. No, go Alana, because I think this is good time.
I was gonna say, should we talk about why it was a happy ending?
Yeah, we can move into that. We can.
Okay, let me find a tweet.
That was the writers, wasn't it? I mean, they just scripted it so well.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh,
Oh my god, the
course,
script, the writers' room. I can't imagine.
It
must have been so
the way
the
they
energy.
pulled it off. I mean, they must have done a few rehearsals in order to get that. So, well,
Where do they find the
look of
time?
surprise on that space.
Yeah, it was so good. But I loved. Yeah, before we jump into the second part of the episode, even though the second part was way shorter, it did feel like a full entire second part.
It was well over like an hour and a half.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
It
was pretty long.
Yeah.
Jester getting the "How do you want to do this?" on Lucian, and just everyone's like reaction, just like all of the weight just lifted. Felt very reminiscent of, you know, obviously the Vecna fight. You know, everyone like holding each other and like fearful of what's to come, and then Matt saying that "How do you want to do this?" and just everything, all of the weight just being taken off of them all. Is probably one of the greatest feelings you could ever have as a player.
Yeah.
In a situation such as that. And Jester's final words to Lucian were pretty good as well. And then the way Matt described Lucian's death, where like the energy hit him and was like splitting him open, to me, because I was hoping we would get like a crumb, a sliver of Molly at Lucian's end.
That's what we talked about. That like we thought that might be how Molly apparates in the scene.
Yeah.
Like a final word or like a final.
And so how I interpreted Matt describing Lucian's death when he like tore himself open, that felt to me like Molly taking over and like finishing Lucian off himself almost. That's how kind of I interpreted like a little glimpse of Molly.
Yeah.
Glimpse of Molly there, but
and that's all we got.
And then there's me. I thought he was going into form number 3.
Oh no, you're at a different state of emotion.
I was like, he's ripping off another cocoon. I was so scared.
Oh my goodness.
That's so much better. I wish I thought that.
No, not the third form.
Isn't that because we all expected, we were all on that precipice of like, this can't be the end. There's got to be something after this. There's got to be something.
Keep fighting for 50 more episodes.
Yeah.
We all want it to continue, but it's got to end somewhere. And this is one of the most poetic endings I think they could have generated.
Yeah.
So yeah, hats off to those writers. Well done.
100%. But yeah, and then we had the God. Now it's gonna start getting now it's gonna start getting emotional. Then we had obviously the aftermath. You know, the thousands and thousands of voices.
Oh, that was lovely.
Thanking the party was and then like them like floating up into the ether of the astral sea was incredible imagery. And obviously them having to quickly revive Caleb Widogast, who is still dead.
Yeah. Every time,
Go back a bit.
Whenever that happens, Matt like describing you see this, I'm like, okay, but revive Caleb. Okay, this is not taking like a minute, is it? Okay, please revive Caleb. Like, yeah.
Didn't Matt at one point before Jester got the "How do you want to do this?" Didn't he say we're not going to take a break? We're just going to push through.
Yeah, I think he probably meant like through the combat.
Okay.
Which they did. Like that was 3.5 hours. Or
I feel
hours.
I feel like it would have been kind of weird if they.
I kept thinking about 2.5 hours in, like saying, "Oh, they're going to break they could break it. No, this would be a terrible place for a break. There was no good spot for a break in the fight.
I think the only time where I thought there was going to be a break was when Caduceus was reviving Jester.
Yeah.
And when he said the things fade away and turn to ash, and we're gonna go to break. That's what I thought he was gonna say.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
That would have been even worse.
Yeah, it would have been pretty bad. That would have been pretty bad. But we didn't, and luckily we had a pretty easy going Caleb resurrect. I think she rolled like a 22 to successfully revive him, which was really nice.
I also wanted to say about the thank yous and all the stuff floating away. It also plays into what we were talking about how they're like underground heroes.
Yeah.
All the people who have them to thank for like their happiness and like their safety almost. There's like a saw in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm sorry. Is people who aren't really there anymore. And that but that just it still means something. It's just not famous. And that just that's I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No, it was beautiful. It really was. And it reminded me of, again, this probably wasn't intentional, but I like to think of like the different like poetic parallels, the rhyming of this campaign and stuff. The imagery of these little motes of energy, these little motes of light rising and filling the space around them reminded me of the dodecahedron, and when you're like in that space and you're seeing all of the endless possibilities and stuff.
I hadn't thought of that.
It just felt very reminiscent of of all that.
Yeah.
Very,
God,
very
that's going to
peace.
be a whole 2 hours of the wrap-up talk. Like, Matt, explain the Luxon. What is it?
Yeah, explain. Yeah. This wrap-up's gonna be way longer than campaign 1. I think there's just so much to this one.
I kind of wonder though if like the beacon and the Luxon stuff might be stuff he doesn't answer because it might pop up in the next campaign. Because that's just part of the world, you know?
Yeah.
That's not part of their story per se. That's existed during Vox Machina's time, too. Oh, I feel like he's not gonna tell us, which is frustrating.
Gonna ask.
No,
I'm gonna ask anyway, for sure.
That's true, because it's funny thinking about these things that are for the next campaign and stuff. That's what I feel like Plane Rider Rin. I feel like a lot of the theories that they had about like the astral planets and things aligning and stuff and things getting weird. I think that's Matt definitely setting things up for the third campaign.
Yeah.
I really want to know, what was the relationship between Lucian and Vesta Rogna? What were they cooking up together? Where did they get the knowledge that all of this existed and this possibility could be made manifest? I still feel, and this is going back to the I still don't think it's over thing, I feel like there's somebody else that we haven't met yet that was somehow feeding this information or this power to Lucian beyond the Sun. Yeah, the suggestion was made, but it's like, well, how could it be Thursday? And Bane was another one. There was a few of the betrayer gods that people suggested, and I was like, yeah, but how does that factor in? We haven't had any seeds that could filter that.
I thought you meant Bane from Batman. I was like, who the fuck's Bane?
He's one of the critical role betrayer gods.
Okay, not bad. I was like, Bane?
I was born into the darkness.
What's he doing here?
Yeah, definitely. Gosh. But then, after resurrecting Caleb, taking in the gratitude of the thousands of Aeorian lives that were lost thousands of years ago to the psychic storm, living in eternal agony, finally being released, we had Bo and Yasha take the time to remove Lucian from the city, which felt very, obviously very literal, they're removing him, but also very symbolic. They are taking their friend Lucian and Molly, separating his life from the city, physically removing him from that aspect of his life. That part's over. This is no longer what you're a part of anymore.
I thought too that was very much a kind of tell of Matt's to the party of saying, you've got a whole body here. Like obviously it's a bit bisected, but you've got a whole body here. I'm not going to say it's yours to do with what you want. That's weird. It's like, you've got a whole body here.
Jeez.
You can... Sorry. I was like, I'm gonna say this, I'm not gonna say it, and then I said it anyway. He's like, here you go, here's a body, you can revive it if you like. But then he also had the alternate of Essek being like, is this a good idea? He was balancing the choices for them as any good DM would do in a non-creepy way.
Essek for me was really interesting in this scene, and we'll get to the second part of why I thought it was interesting. After we talk about the initial, the initial attempt stuff. But yeah, once they removed their old friend Molly from the clutches of Cognosa itself and laid him out, and Caleb, holding up his transmuter stone, the stone that he's had since pretty much the beginning of the campaign, when he found that
before
stone.
Molly died.
Yeah, before Molly died. Sacrificing this stone that obviously had a lot of significance to him, to cast Raise Dead and perform our first ritual, our first resurrection ritual of the campaign.
I appreciate too that they took time to talk about if this is what they wanted.
Yeah.
Obviously Caleb was 100% on board. He was going for it, but I loved his speech of, why did we come this far if not to at least try this? And I was thinking, like, look, even if they get Lucian back, because in my head at this time I was just like, this is perfect, this is storytelling, this is how it happens in Critical Role and in TV, in all forms of entertainment. We're going to get this good moment. And I was thinking, like, yeah, even if it's like Lucian, like it's Lucian free of the Somnovum's influence, this might be someone that they can, reason with more. Because in my head I was like, it probably won't be Molly, it'll probably be Lucian. But I did like how they spoke about it, like, is this the right idea? Should we do it here? Should we go somewhere else? Like, do we want to do this?
Yeah.
But I like how I think they all wanted to do it. They just were concerned.
I really
it was like,
liked
go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I really liked like the varying reactions to it, because I think it was all very telling. Like Ford was very, like, obviously, he wants his friend back, but he's the most like, he's like, weird to say, but he's kind of like the parent of the group. He's the one who's like this, like when they were all like, we're gonna die, he was like, stop saying that. Like, he's always the one who tries to like keep them on a path, kind of. And he was like, are we sure? Like, are we sure? And then there's Caleb, who I could just rant about forever. His development from going from like the beginning of the campaign, being like this loner who is like ready to leave everybody, ready to leave not even, like, to somebody who like everything that he does is for these people. Because like he was saying, like, why did we come all this way if not for this? And there's an answer to that, like, bringing the city back would be bad. People could have died. We need to save all these souls. But that's not as important to him as trying to get his friend back. And that's so cool. Isn't that so cool? What
it's so sweet.
What an arc. What a character arc. Sweet. For this angsty, dirty wizard boy.
Our stinky wizard boy.
Stinky man.
Oh. But yeah, and I just loved his, going back to that line, like, why did we come all this way? Like, we know why we went to the ends of the earth to stop Lucian, because of Molly. Like, this is why we were here. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. This moment right here is why we fought so hard. And then his sentiment of like, we would have done this for any one of us here.
Yeah,
we would have done it for any one of us.
It brings in the whole kind of conundrum of what do you do with resurrection magic in D&D, of like, if you're able to bring people back to life that have been dead for 100 years, what's your responsibility to the world? But I think it's justified. I think it's earned in this moment of like, he's been dead for months, but this is earned. This is, why wouldn't you try if you can? And they tried. They tried. Resurrection ritual, yes.
It was a lovely ritual. I liked the contributions from each of them. There's sometimes when they do these and I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. That was a bit, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Going back to some of the campaign ones, it's like, yeah, I do this, I sing a song, whatever. These were all from the heart, and it really touched on a significant level. I really appreciated it, and yeah, the result wasn't what I was expecting, and I don't think everybody, even Essek, it was like, is that it? What? There's nothing else?
I think like Vox Machina got very good at like playing the game of resurrection rituals. It was very much like, we need 3 different skill checks. We need to like have 3 unique things. But not like they were all excellent. Like they were all still very good. But I think for this, it was literally Yasha, Jester, and Bo just begging him to come back, just like pleading, which is why it was all persuasion checks. I know it changed for Bo's, but it was just, please, just come back if you can. So I agree. I liked this probably. I mean, the campaign 1 resurrection rituals were amazing, but this was something completely different.
There were some really, really good resurrection rituals in the first campaign, obviously, but I think that there's something that makes this one even more impactful because it's like the only one they've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Like, narratively, they have no fucking clue what's going on. They're just begging. Like, that's it. And I don't know, it just it's that thing where, and I felt like they did a good job with it in campaign 1, where you have to balance, like, you can't get comfortable. You can't be like, oh yeah, they can die. We have a resurrection spell. Like, and that's why Matt does a good job with like balancing his resurrections and stuff like that. But without them ever having to do it before, and this being the very first time in this situation with that person and all the ties they had with each other, it was like, it made the resurrection ritual function the way that I think was like it when it was conceived of. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it's supposed to feel. It was so cool.
All of the previous resurrections, though, they were always done directly after the trauma had occurred. The person would go down, there'd be 24 hours, and then they'd bring them back. This has been, what is it, 100 episodes, and how much in-game time? It's a long time.
Yeah, often it was like the declarations of love and pleading in campaign 1. They were very fresh and raw. Obviously we got incredible moments, like we got Vex's whatever of love for Percy in those moments and things like that. But yeah, I agree. I think this one, because it was just a deep sense of longing and like it's been a long time. So they've
been a while.
Putting a lot of they've put a lot of like thought and emotion into these persuasions.
Almost like, you know what it is? I saw someone say in chat, Stormy Boy said, funny, most of them only knew Molly for 30 to 40 days. It kind of strikes me as a longing is the right word, Alana, because I feel like it's them being like, we love you, you're our friend, and you and we both deserve the chance to get to know you the way we've all gotten to know each other, like the way we would have gotten to know you if we hadn't lost you. You know what I mean? It's like fixing a mistake almost. It's like, this isn't how it was supposed to be. You were supposed to be family, the way that we've all become family, but we lost that chance. Now we're getting it back. That's what it felt like to me.
That's really good,
It felt like they were reclaiming their leader to me, because when they first started, it felt like Molly was the initiator, the leader of the group. I think it was kind of shared with Ford a bit and Jester as the main instigator, but it was really they were the one that chose how things would develop. And losing that leadership, it transferred to Ford and to other elements of the team, Caleb. But I felt like they wanted to retain that. They wanted to bring that leadership back so that it was whole, the family. It's like losing your mum or your dad. You can't imagine the family being complete without that person there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think I read it exactly as leadership, but it's definitely like direction. Like, they lost a driving force. And
and as Andrea in chat has put, Molly broke through their personal bubbles. As a person,
perfectly
said. He's pretty much the one who got them past the point of party members to like friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was around his death and or his death that made them get tight. You know? and and how shit is it that he didn't get to be a part of that? That's probably what they're thinking, you know? Like, we're a family. You are also our family, but we lost
something he couldn't enjoy.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's wonderful storytelling.
It's very good, but pulling us back into this resurrection ritual.
Let's just end now.
Ashley,
I don't want to talk about
Ashley getting emotional. Ashley getting emotional was
crying
just
broke me.
Oh my god. Oh.
Ashley was crying, and I was like, "Fuck!" And then I looked to the right, and Mersh was crying, and I was like, "Fuck!" And then Matt was like, "Essek walks away in a huff," and I was like, "What was that? Was that some gay activity?" Because he did it right after Caleb kissed Molly on the forehead, and I was like, "Is he jealous? What is that? That's a little badly timed."
Oh yeah, but yeah. Can we
pick up on that?
And then Ford went to follow. Like, I was texting my friend. I was like, "Is that some gay activity? Jealous gay activity?" But Ford was like, "What?" And then he went and talked to Essek, and Essek and Matt started tearing up, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, if 100%.
That's what broke me.
Yeah, Matt getting upset because we don't see Essek get emotional like that. He's been subdued and he's been scared, but he was upset. He was really
heartbroken.
hurt.
He was like, "These people deserve this. Why aren't they getting it?" That
and his whole ideal of this shouldn't happen. This is what I don't want to happen. I've been trying to. In my head, I was like, "Is he gonna do some weird time shit?"
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Also, I thought he was gonna walk away in a huff and then be like, "Huh!" And I was like, "Oh,
no!"
Yes, turn back time.
And it was, I mean, yes, obviously the resurrection failed. That Nat won.
So poetic.
In the open, in front of everybody, and that he didn't do it on his screen.
Yeah, he did it so quick though. It was so quick of like, grab a dice, roll it, fuck.
I was like, "What did he
I
roll?"
was told away when it happened.
You roll a natural one. Yeah.
That I was listening with went, "Oh no!" And I was like, "What happened? What happened?" And I saw the one. And I was like, "A one? What does that mean?"
Yeah, literally same. I saw him roll it, and I still had that reaction where I was like, "What was that for? What was that?" Like, it just was so quick. Yeah. Oh my god. And then
I screamed. Like, I think I sent you that
reaction
gif of me like reacting, and it's just like I screamed. I was like, I should have recreated it. I'm sorry, but yeah, it was bad. It was because then it was a lot of, like I said, it was the stages of grief really quickly. It was a lot of like bargaining of like, maybe Essie can do something, maybe they do something. Oh, this sucks. Like, this is so upsetting, and crying, and
and some of them were going into acceptance. Like, some of them were starting to say their final goodbyes, and I was like,
end of it, when
and like,
Caleb's like the amber, it's like, oh god, I guess this is it.
The thing for me about that whole situation is like, that was followed by a beautiful resurrection ritual. Jester, Bo, and Yasha just pouring their hearts out into this ritual, doing everything they can to bring back their friend that they had lost so long ago. And then to just not work, like it just wasn't in the cards, as I'm sure Molly would say.
Matt played it really well. He played it so much so that it wasn't like the soul is unwilling. He never actually said the soul is unwilling, although Taliesin had said before Molly probably wouldn't come back, all this sort of stuff. He didn't necessarily lay it at their feet of, no, he's not coming back. It was just more, this magic's not powerful enough, or something's just not getting through. There's this one little fragment of a hole that is struggling to get through. I think he was trying to maybe leave it open for potential resurrection later down the line, but he was also allowing that sense of finality to it of like, this is just kind of how it is. Like, it's when he was describing it before he rolled of this fragment of a whole, or is it the whole, or could a fragment even become its own soul? It was just like, it was so nerve-wracking. And I think that release of emotion when you see the one, and then, as you said, like the eventual kind of acceptance of, I guess it's not happening. I guess, like, it was so beautiful. It was so poignant. It was such an excellent way to end that resurrection ritual and that story.
It made perfect narrative sense. Like it was beautiful.
Yeah, very poignant.
It was so fitting for, you know, everything that the party has gone through. Because I mean, not to say that it wasn't like a happy ending, maybe not the ending that they had wanted in that moment, but it was yeah, it was like they understood.
Tragedy.
They understood.
They had that moment to like connect and say goodbye.
I was like texting my friend while it was happening, and it rolled, and we were like, fuck. Like the energy just dropped because we were both, you know, we were disappointed, but like even though we were disappointed, we were talking, and they were like, maybe it's better this way, you know, like you can rest, it works narratively, and I was like, you're right. And then as soon as and then Taliesin was like, I'm just gonna do this, and
just for fun.
Our text thread went from lowercase letters to all uppercase back again.
I think I was in all caps that entire night, because on the Discord we have like a live chat and stuff. I don't think I typed in lowercase at all in that episode.
Caps all night until the Nat 1, and then I resumed all caps when Divine Intervention happens.
Oh.
I think it could not have been more perfect the way it played out. I think I want to know before we get to it. I want to know, maybe this is a wrap-up question, but it's such a small thing, of had the resurrection ritual worked the first time, was Matt going to address Taliesin and ask, like, would Molly come back? I think because when it failed and then Cad did the divine intervention, that was Taliesin almost like saying, yeah, I'm okay with this, or like, let's, like, this is my acceptance of this. Like, it might not work, let's try it anyway. Talison's reaction, like, I went back and rewatched that scene so many times of rolling and just
I
thought he was going to say, like, I don't care what the role is, he's not coming back.
Yeah,
I don't want to as that character.
And I think coming off the Jester's divine intervention earlier, where she got a 17 needing a 15, I was just like, oh god, like,
yeah,
you know, 4 successful divine interventions. This man,
Taliesin, Axelrod, Jaffe. The fuck? What the fuck?
Pyramids, man. They have a way with things. Yeah.
Travis being the high man they want. So true in this sense, because him going like, no, like, that's everyone. That was everyone in the community last night when Taliesin was sending it to Matt and just waiting for Matt. Like, what is it?
Matt's fucking face. He was like, bitch, what the fuck?
Yeah, you just rolled a 2. How did you do
that? It was
freaking 2.
Now, imagine for a moment because I loved how Matt said, like, he allowed it to be a re-roll. He allowed it to almost be like a re-resurrection. It wasn't just an instant resurrection. He's like, I'm not giving you a true resurrection for free. And like the dice were telling the story. Imagine if they told the different story of it going under 5 again, or it not meeting it. That as Marisha said, that emotional roller coaster, I can think of nothing worse than that happening at that point.
Yeah,
if it had failed.
Divine intervention, it had to succeed. It had to succeed.
I think they would have found a way to spin it, obviously, because they're such great storytellers, but also it would have felt like an extra punch, because you already failed, and then you get another chance, which you don't normally get.
Again. Yeah.
Damn.
I must admit, I was thinking of you when that natural one came up, and I thought, I should be recording my reactions for this, because I could feel myself getting a bit weepy, and I thought, this is big. I wonder if Alana's... maybe I should message her, and I thought, no, this is not the moment to message Alana and say...
Not now!
Shut up, Phil!
Leave her be.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
no, I've got a lot of clips of me crying.
I find them really endearing. I really like reaction videos, and I know a lot of critters do, and I'm sure we'd all love to see your emotional reaction to this journey.
It's a lot of like,
just an absolute mess. But I loved, because I wasn't sure how Matt was gonna play out Molly coming back, because he was describing then like the flowers blooming and then falling away, revealing Molly again. And then there was like a pause. I was like, okay, is he gonna just become Molly? And then he looked over to Taliesin, and he was like, and for the first time for a while, you open your eyes. And I was like, oh shit!
Oh, my God. The look that he gave Taliesin as well, though. It was a look of like, this is your opportunity. I'm so
like
glad
me and you, buddy.
One friend to another friend, I'm going to give you the best present ever. Here you go. What do you want to do?
Man.
And I love this response. He's like, he gets up and he runs off.
Fucking books it. I was like, that's so bad of you, babe.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So how do we feel about Molly in this way? It seems like he's there, and like he there's recognition. Like he recognizes the party to an extent. Like at an emotional level, he recognizes them. So do you think maybe like a greater restoration might do the trick or something?
I feel like it might just take time.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't hurt to do a greater restoration, but I think it's going to be something like when he first got out of the grave and he met Yasha, or when he met the circus.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take him a minute. But he has those associations, and I saw someone in chat say that the things that he called them were the tarot cards that he drew for them, right?
Yeah. See,
like they were all tarot cards.
Oh, I didn't realize
so he remembers them.
Magician,
like
joy, love, tinker, see.
Oh,
like he actually remembers them. Just on some level that he has to get back to.
I loved that when he looked at Yasha, all he felt was love for Yasha. That
and you could like oh god, we talk about them being incredible at improv and being funny and charming, but as actors themselves, it's just so good to watch. It's like it is live theater that we're watching. Taliesin's reactions, the way he was acting like this dazed and confused being, but the recognition of his friends and family. It
was beautiful.
Dive that sort of stuff.
Ashley.
I love actors.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, you never met Molly, did you? Yeah, boy, that
that's Caduceus. Oh my god,
that's amazing. That's just shits to Taliesin.
That was so fucking funny.
Oh, I love that.
Very well, though.
I loved that.
But I think that in my head I was like, oh, Molly's gonna be back, and we're gonna have this beautiful, speech from him of like, oh, I've returned. Like, what that wasn't. And anyway, in his accent.
that was like Dracula.
That was almost Dracula.
I am coming back.
But
good.
That was like obviously. That's like, oh, that would be amazing. That would be almost, I think, the cliche thing of the happy ending of he's back and he's back exactly as he was, and he's sniding at them and he's making witty remarks. But I think this is just perfect.
Yes.
I think the fact that, because obviously he's been gone for so long, like we don't know what he's going to be at, we don't know what his stats are going to be like.
Is he level 5, 6? Does he come back at the level that he died?
Level 1. Might be level 1.
I've got a question I couldn't find on Twitter anywhere. When they went to his grave and they discovered the grave was missing, did they put his coat back on the prop, or did they take it with them?
No, they took his coat.
Okay, because I want to see that return to him with the bit where he
slips Yasha gave it back to him.
Yeah.
All right.
From that point forward, they were like, ooh, we might be able to get Molly back. That was always the kind of hope.
Okay. I need to go back and watch that.
Jeez. I think it's beautiful. I think, as Caduceus said, maybe just give him some time.
Yeah.
And the Blooming Grove is the perfect place for them to go. I'm so glad
100%.
they're heading there.
Yeah. It's much better than Zadash.
Really beautiful. And Travis's comment really put into perspective how long this campaign has been. When he said, it's been before our son was born that we've heard Taliesin use that Molly accent.
That's put into perspective.
Yeah. I was like, damn.
Okay.
Wow.
I've been looking through my Twitter likes for the past 5 minutes trying to find this tweet, and I just did. It's by Orphans Maker on Twitter.
I love them.
Oh, yeah.
They're great, and it's they made this tweet 2 days ago. Prophetic shit. They said, thinking about Molly waking up to see Yasha, a comforting monochromatic sight amidst the colorful background of the astral sea, and how that would perfectly parallel Yasha coming to and seeing Molly, an explosion of colors in her otherwise bleak life.
Oh.
Wow.
Damn.
I need to buy a lottery ticket or something.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That's good. That's good.
That
Yeah.
and the fact that Molly, with very little memories and only vague associations of safety with these people, the first thing that he did was hug Yasha.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the first thing he did. He looked at her, associated her with love, felt safe, and hugged her.
Oh.
He doesn't even know his own name. And he knew he could hug Yasha and be okay. Bro.
You're gonna make us all cry again.
Oh, it's so
I
sweet.
can keep going.
It's so, it's so
It's
sweet.
so good.
That was everything I could have hoped for. That was exactly what I think we all needed. And even because then they're all like they're a family again. They're together. They are the mighty Nine. All nine of them with Essek and Molly there. That's 9.
Mm-hmm.
They are finally the mighty 9. And then their moment of plane shifting where they're all, linking hands and they have that moment of looking at each other, smiling. Oh my god. Oh, united as one. Oh.
That one got me. It made me miss the table. So much.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's still. Sorry. Fine.
It's almost over.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was so heartwarming, so touching. Because it's been a ride. 3.5 years we've been with these characters, and they have gone through so many different things. Because obviously, with Vox Machina, we were with Vox Machina for a very long time as well, but their story wasn't as black or it wasn't as gray as this has been. We've had some like very interesting and dire and like it could go either way moments in this campaign. A lot of like major turning points, like giving over the beacon to the Luxon was campaign changing.
That was
incredible.
Stealing the boat and going across the sea, campaign changing.
Oh my god. What? No, I don't have time to rewatch campaign 2.
Well, maybe there's some highlighters on YouTube that you might be able to watch.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Sections from maybe.
Oh yeah.
Like check and see if anybody does that. I feel like they probably don't.
Yeah,
there's this girl
there's
called
probably
Gamma Lana. She makes some really good edits, and I've heard that she's working on several edits, but she just hasn't
check that out.
produced
Check
it.
that out.
Maybe she's busy.
Edits.
Yeah.
Did you notice the music? Was it just me, or did the music completely match what was going on? Is that the script writers again, or
That's pretty good.
Really, did they have an orchestra background?
Was that post-production?
Moment.
There's
people in chat saying this music is either written for the show or it's. I need to know what it is because I'm so emotional based on it.
It was stupid perfect.
It was.
It hit the right beats. It got silent at the right part. Like the crescendo at the end. I think it was when. Oh, I can't remember at what point. But either way, it was like one of the points where either resurrection failed or it succeeded, and it like rose. And Matt's like, and then it's it's.
I think it's
on time. I love musical timing.
Oh yeah.
And it was stupid on time. I was freaking out.
I think that's something that the cast is really good at. Because they're all brilliant actors. Not only voice actors, but they understand music plays an element in storytelling. So when they're in that moment and they know it's an intense moment and they hear the music, they probably play to the music as well. Where they have those pauses moments where the music fits the pauses and then they speak again and stuff. So it's just a testament to how amazing they are at acting and storytelling and just all of that stuff. It's incredible. Really amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best things that made it so fun for me last night, was knowing that Nico was watching it in America, that Alana and Kirli were watching it in Australia, and that dozens of people in the UK and Europe were watching it, and we were all watching it live in real time, all communicating.
Maya's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean watching it.
Yeah,
it felt like a global community again. It felt like we had all come together for that special moment in order to share in that wonder and magnificence of these nerdy.
I mean, it was trending. It was trending like crazy. I was saying in the Discord yesterday, in Australia, we had like a major political leader step down yesterday, like huge news, and Critical Role was trending above that. It was ridiculous. It's like, what? That can't be that.
I say we've been talking about Corona for 2 years or something. Now it's like Critical Role at the top, and Corona's number 2. Excellent.
Critical Role is number 1 in the United States. Which Critical Role spoilers specifically, I think.
Yeah.
Which was nice. Because
even
spoilers, folks.
Molly made the top 20 in Australia.
Lucian,
long may he reign was trending as well.
I think Jester got up there when Jester went down. Enough people were screaming about it that it was like 5 or something. Which is so valid.
Yeah.
But like, oh my god,
1,000 voices cried out at once.
But to the comment that you made, Phil, about all of us experiencing live at the same time, it's such a powerful thought, because when we're so isolated when we watch the show, we're all in our rooms. I mean, maybe some people watching have a couple of friends that are watching as well, but it's just us and the screen, and then just obviously the chats and stuff. But when you think about it, in these moments of like intense emotion, 100,000 other people are in that moment with you together, all experiencing it together, and just thinking of that is just amazing. That sense of community that we are all in this together, feeling the same things.
Unparalleled. I've never been part of a community like this. I don't think there's been communities like this before. Matt's instigation to make everybody love each other. Do you see the tweet of like where Matt said like, I thought I told everybody to love each other. Was I not clear on this?
I think the closest I ever got to something like this was maybe the Avatar: The Last Airbender finale, of watching it and then going to message boards.
I remember people talking about that,
but the connection, I think, because now everything's a lot more instant, and obviously messaging's a lot more instant. Twitter is what it is. That ability to be able to connect, as you say, with so many different people. Like, I think before the episode even ended last night, like, I think just after Molly got back out, like, the Discord, Nika was just all like, I love spending time with you guys. This has been amazing. This has been, like, and it was just gorgeous. It was so lovely.
It was so lovely.
Because we've often said, like, this show specifically as well, like, it started because we just wanted to talk about Critical Role. And now it's, I've said it a million times before, but this is like the highlight of my week of just getting to hang out with friends and talk about Critical Role, because there's no one in, like, apart from my brother who's episodes behind, this is the only place I can talk about it. And it's so special.
It's wonderful.
Critical Role, like, in the fandom, is like the most involved I've ever been in a fandom. And my Twitter account, for people who don't know me, I meme. That's my job. And I
do it well.
But before this most recent semester of college was it was a lot. So I wasn't watching live very often. And even when I did, I used to live tweet memes. Like, I'd make memes as I watched and live tweet them. And I haven't done that in a while because just I've been stressed with school and blah blah blah. And now I'm home and it's summer break. So I was like, and it's like a finale type episode, it's like one of the last ones, and I was like, I'm gonna watch, and if the inspiration strikes, I'm gonna meme. You know what? I'm gonna meme. I said to myself 5 minutes before the episode started, and I started memeing, I started tweeting, and I have never in my fucking life gotten so many Twitter notifications. I had my phone plugged in and it was sitting off to the side because I was trying to watch the episode, and it was just like there were just critters losing their shit in my mentions the entire for like 5 hours, and I was like, this is like, I was like, everyone's freaking out. I felt like I was right.
So we're doing it together.
I felt like I was in a theater with everybody. like sitting around me.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
everyone
felt
was like
like,
shaking me.
Yeah,
It was
it's that whole
amazing.
idea, like I said, of being at live theater, except when the audience is absolutely rabid.
Everyone's like,
yeah. Could you
Feral
imagine?
audience.
They have like the chain screen in front of the performers and like stop people
hurling
from
shit.
throwing things.
You know when people get really, really excited about like a performance and they throw their shoe on like on the stage or whatever? Like it feels like that, but like hopped up to a fucking like times 100. It's just it was amazing.
Throwing dice at them.
Yeah, they throw their
we're all
dice
just
at
like,
them.
"Ah!"
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy shit.
It's incredible. And there were so many moments during this episode where I was like, oh man, what if this was a live show? And just like imagining like different like crowd reactions to different points of what was happening. Like imagine it being a live show and Matt looking over to Taliesin and him saying the line and you open your eyes for the first time. Like imagine riots. There would have been riots
in the street of London.
Fire. Like
Yeah,
Purple Man brought back to life.
That would have been something.
Be almost like God.
Bananas.
Yeah.
You okay, Alana?
Yeah. No, it's a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings. Happening right now.
It's it's amazing. It's amazing. But what do we think about next episode? Next episode is our last one. The last episode of the campaign. Yeah. And I guess it's gonna be a long one, so I'm guessing like 5.5 hours, probably.
Yeah, he said long one.
Yeah, he said so bring your caffeine.
Yeah, I was like, uh-oh.
This is kind of what I was like touching on earlier of when last week Matt said like, we're wrapping up, and there was that feeling of, and a bit of like what you said, Phil, of like, is this the end? Like I'm trying to find the words to describe how I feel about this being the end, because I feel like there's more. I feel like there's like obviously arcs to finish. I feel like there's threads. Is this the big bad? All those kind of feelings we had last week. I'm so satisfied now with this ending. I'm so ready for it to be. No, that sounds like, but it's like it's a satisfying spot to finish, and I get it. I 100% get why they are wanting to finish it here. And I think earlier in this episode, Matt was saying like, we'll continue, like I think it might have been at the start when he was introducing it, like this is getting towards the end, we'll figure out what they're going to do next, that sort of thing. I think it probably wasn't until Molly came back that they've decided, okay, let's finish up here, because I don't know how. I don't even want to like theorize because it's just too perfect. I don't want to ruin the moment by like theorizing on that. I know we're going to, but like it's just such a good spot. I'm so contented, I'm so satisfied with this place to end. And I can't wait for next week.
But I also like don't want it to come, because
that too.
As soon as it's here, like that's it, And obviously we're not saying goodbye to these characters. There's still like one shots, other forms of art form and media that we could probably see more of their stories and stuff. But yeah, your comment of like being satisfied with this is definitely true, because before, a couple episodes ago, I was like, how? There's no way this is it. Like, how could this be it? But then seeing, like, the emotional weight that this has had and the, like, joyous triumph that has come out of this, like, this truly is a fitting ending to their story in this form.
And it's also...
like
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you go, Phil.
I was going to say, it's also a better time of year to be doing it, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, at least. When Campaign 1 ended, I think, was it November? And they started Campaign 2 in January. So it's winter, which is, unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's cold, it's wet, it's grim, there's not much to do. You've got Christmas, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got all of those family things that you have to go and do. This is summer. It is a traditional time when we can take a break, we can have a holiday, we can enjoy the sunshine, and then come back to it in September, October, maybe. I really do hope that they come back and continue with a campaign 3 or something. I don't care, even if they change the entire cast and it's like Critical Role: The Next Generation. or whoever, they get some of their friends in.
Critical Role
Ronin.
Zed.
It's a Ronin.
But
It's
following
just
the
Ronin.
same kind of principles that they've adhered to all the way through campaign 1, campaign 2.
Critical Role GT.
They've been
Can't
talking
imagine
about
life without Critical Role.
Yeah,
I
they've
don't
been
know what
talking
I'd do.
about and teasing like very vaguely like campaign 3 characters and like how they've already been
Yeah.
thinking about it for a while. So I would be surprised if they didn't end up doing a campaign 3.
Yeah.
But like you said, either way, I just like those people. I
Yeah.
just think they're
Yeah.
cool.
I just love those.
They're pretty great, you know?
Pretty neat.
Love those little shits.
Kind of neat.
Actually, it'd be really good if campaign 3 was just called the Taldore Council. And they all play the members of the Taldore Council.
It's just like council meetings.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
they're
the entire
dealing with,
campaign's just
every
like
day to day like requests.
Planning permission for the crossroads of a new house is going to be.
Oh yeah, and we're just like.
Yeah. In this episode, we talk about the sewage system of Vasselheim.
Ooh.
Motherfuckers and their role play. I screw it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's have a bureaucratic campaign.
Yeah.
Did you watch
Campaign 3, red tape.
The Skyrim one shot on Monday.
It was so good.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I've heard it's amazing.
So good.
Genius.
I love the
Send it.
Scrolls.
I'm gonna send it to my friends who don't watch Critical Role and make them watch it because
Oh yeah,
it's a one shot, so I can get them, and they both like Skyrim, so I can get them.
Nice.
I've seen people talk about too, maybe like mini campaigns, like 6-episode long arc campaigns are pretty cool, like because you can do some really interesting stuff with that. But also like there's so many other role playing games that they could dip their toes into. I'd love to see maybe a return of like Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, I would love that.
Or like another Honey Heist. I love Marisha DMing. That's always so amazing.
They need a Honey Heist, except it's just weasels and Sprinkle is like the kingpin.
Yeah.
Sprinkle's the kingpin. He's got like this weird little thing he does sometimes where he talks in a different voice and does magic, but mostly he's just Sprinkle.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And
you just reminded me of something that we haven't talked about. You know the Somnovan or the what were they called, the city?
Cognosa?
Yeah, Cognosa. They were making god-killing weapons, weren't they?
They were trying
weapons that wouldn't allow you to heal. When he introduced the Traveller as Sprinkle, I mean, it was epic because it explained how Sprinkle had survived all of that. And I thought, okay, that's putting him on set. And they're going to a place to confront people who designed god-killing weapons. What happens if he happens to Jester? Does she still retain her powers, or does she become one of those clerics that the power comes from within? It doesn't come from a god. And I was apprehensive about that. I mean, it didn't manifest, but
that's interesting, though. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it didn't pop into my head.
Have you read the Wild Mountain Adventures guys? You haven't you, Alana?
I have not.
No, I've never touched it.
You have. I know you have. Frigid Woe. They've never even touched on Frigid Woe. And it's like, that is the most amazing
fuck is that?
It's not nice. It's really not nice.
You're not allowed to read anything.
It's really bad. But
is it something in Aor or Isocross?
It's in Aor. It's bad shit that will kill you.
Did they ever come close to it in their
Not that I can tell. It was, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's still like so open, which is why I think probably next campaign they might move away from Wildmount. Even though there's still so much there, like there's even any part of Wildmount, like the Blighted Shore is really cool and exciting, but it's so detailed in the book that I think they're going to move somewhere else. So either if it's like
I hope they do another continent.
I'm forgetting the name. Marquette. And they do.
You know what would be cool? I was thinking about Marquette. But you know what I thought would be cool is what if there's like a continent somewhere, assuming that Exandria is not flat.
Have you seen the globe picture that somebody did? There's like a huge big section of ocean, like the Pacific, where there's just nothing there. There's no Hawaii there, I'm afraid.
Well, what if they go to a continent that has never even been brought up before? Like maybe it's so distant that like they just don't have any dealings with any of the places that they've been. Maybe it hasn't even been discovered yet by like the other people, or maybe vice versa, you know? Like I hope we stay in Exandria, but like I want to go someplace we haven't even heard about yet. Let's
That'd be pretty
go.
cool.
There's that area called the Shattered Teeth, which is like south of Wildmount, and it's just thousands of islands, like
I like that.
all connected with their
Love
own
me an
little
island
like
personally.
areas. Yeah. And it's so like kind of cut off from the Menagerie coast. It's like, yeah, I thought that would be a kind of a cool spot for a campaign.
that'd be
We don't know much
slick.
about that at all.
Who do we think? So for in this campaign, we had a lot of callbacks from campaign 1. What do we think could potentially like pop up in like a campaign 3? Because like obviously we had a Laura come back in this one. The first character that comes to mind is Essek popping up in campaign 3 randomly.
Maybe Yusa?
Yeah, maybe Yusa as a side character.
Dependent on when and where it's set.
Yeah.
Like it could be because this was a 20-minute time skip between campaign 1 and campaign 2, and
20 year.
Yeah, like I mean, if it's but as you say, I think we're onto something with like the Plane Runner Rid, this convergence of the spheres, conjunction of the spheres. What's that from? Conjunction of the spheres.
That's Witcher. The Witcher series.
If it's something like that, that could be a trigger for the start of the 3rd campaign. I don't think it's going to happen next episode, but I think it's definitely something that could be a kickoff for the 3rd campaign. It's exciting.
It's exciting to now, because I mean I joined this campaign kind of at the beginning. Episode like 7-ish is when I picked it up. It's gonna be so much fun being here from the very beginning of the campaign, like when the silhouettes are released, when like they're doing like little Zoom calls and stuff about all that.
I'm
like
so excited.
Of it.
Yes, I'm so excited for that because I started Critical Role in my senior year of high school. I think campaign 2 had already started, but I was blasting my way through campaign 1, so I was like, I'm not gonna look at it, I'm not gonna touch it. I want to do everything in order. And then I started catching up on campaign 2, and the first episode I watched live was episode 26. And so so I know, I was like, I literally had this fucking moment where I was like, Molly died, and I was like, it's my fault. I was like,
you're the reason.
I was like, I'm here. It's because I'm here. Like, it was so stupid. But I've never been a part of this at the top, ever. And I'm so excited. I want to be a part of something at the top.
Because we came in with the What the Sheep podcast really late into the campaign. So we're going to have the What the Sheep podcast for an entire Critical Role campaign from start to finish. So now when we make theories, because we're going to make theories after episode 1, we're going to put all of our theories out there.
I'm really concerned about that because like I've gone back and looked at the early campaign 2 discussion threads of like episode 1, episode 2, and people are like, Caleb's a werewolf. Like, I'm like, God, we're going to say some dumb shit.
Yeah.
I just know it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
The point.
It's gonna be great.
That's the fun.
That's such a good theory, though. I'm not calling out those people saying that was dumb. That was really fun. But at the same time, I'm just like, what are we gonna say?
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Whatever we say will be the truth, though. We speak only canon. Yeah.
Yeah. We've never been wrong before in any of our theories.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Listen. There is still the epilogue episode to have Vandrin having a cookout,
you know what?
having a barbecue.
He was there on the Cognos Award. They couldn't see it behind the tower, but his little hut was there, and they just missed him. He was on this island all along.
You motherfuckers.
We don't have any plot threads like Keyleth's mum left over, do we? From 2 that could go
Ford's got some. Ukatoa, Vandrin, that kind of stuff. Caleb has his stuff with Trent.
Yeah, the Cerberus Assembly.
Bo has the Cobalt Soul stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the corruption of Malazimir and the Savalier Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never did anything about that.
Yeah.
I want to know what the fuck that's
about. Wildmount. I really don't understand.
Everything's turning evil.
Fucked. Yeah. And absolutely fucked up. I mean, they must have amazing real estate adverts.
I know.
For people to continue to live in wild. Do they have really short memories? It's like they've just forgotten about the 800 years calamity.
Are just corrupting into these fucking little things. Like, there's 2 separate forests that just went evil. And for what?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
why does anyone live there?
And you travel 50 miles in the direction, you find some other evil lake, or you peel up the grass and there's like an entire evil city. It's just like, why?
And then you got Thara's Dune sitting in the moon. Like, we've got to deal with this, guys.
Mm-hmm. It's there.
Cult of the Dragon.
Campaign 3 is going to be on the moon. I saw yes. That on Twitter.
Space campaign.
Yep. Please. Moon. Moon campaign. There's just a whole society up there. Nobody knows about it.
I always think of Carolyn when you start talking about moons. After
I know. Carolyn, where are you?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. But do we have any other closing thoughts, feelings, emotions about this episode and what is to come?
General screaming sounds.
Yeah.
I'm not as apprehensive as I was this time last week. I'm looking forward to
it. Like I said, it's such a good feeling right now. I'm elated.
Yeah, it feels like this feels so good. And I have full faith and I'm so excited to see how it's all gonna be wrapped up. Because like they've won. It's it's over. Obviously there are some loose threads still, but like they get a full episode of epilogue to just tie things up, and I cannot wait.
I want them to have the happiest ending.
Mm-hmm. They deserve it so much.
What do you think the ending will be? I mean,
obviously, I don't even want to speculate.
To be honest, I have no idea.
I don't even have it in me. I know that's like the point of this podcast.
Bo and Yasha need to get married. Caleb and Isaac need to get married.
So I don't know if we'll get that far. I don't know if we're going to get a look into the future.
I don't think it'll be like in campaign 1 where it's like, what do you want to do for the next 5-10 years? I think it'll be a very just nice wrap up to where they.
What are you up to now?
Yeah, like a what are you up to now? Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Maya. Yeah.
I think we must get some kind of at least talks about the Cerberus Assembly next episode. I think that has to be addressed. I don't see them necessarily going out and dealing with it head on, but I still can't see this campaign ending fully without them at least saying, "Hey, remember that Trent guy?" Like,
you know what I wonder actually is I wonder if, because with Vox Machina they were level 20, they had, some of them had already gotten married, some of them had things that they were already like pursuing. One of them wasn't no comment. It was like very clearly an end for the adventuring party.
Yeah.
The Mighty Nine might not be done adventuring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what if they just true, but like as a group, like I feel like I wonder if they're just gonna kind of be like, all right, let's take a vacation, and the next stop we're gonna beat Icky Thong's ass, and then it ends. Like I don't know.
I could see them. I won't. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but I was gonna say. I'm gonna upset you.
Say it.
I could see them splitting up in that sense of, like, we're at a point where Caduceus will stay with Molly in the Blooming Grove and help him. I could see Caleb and Veth going to Nicodranus and being with her family. I could see Ford and Bo and Yasha sailing and doing stuff on the sea and checking back in every so often. But I could see them definitely. Yeah, I could see them definitely having their own lives, but you're still being together in some sense.
As long as they're still together, I'm fine. As long as they still meet up every every other weekend and have dinner, I don't care. I just want that.
I know. The only thing I hope for, and some people have chatted and said this, and I think it was talked about last week. I hope the closing scene for this campaign is them going back to Trostenwald and going back to that tavern where they all first met. Yeah.
They're like 2 weeks off of their 1-year anniversary together.
Yeah.
Maybe the circus is traveling back through town.
Oh my god. That would be...
The guy that they sent to jail has been released for good service, and he's opened up the carnival.
Gustav.
Gustav? Didn't they get Gustav released?
He got like a working contract.
Yeah, it was something like that. But one thing that I thought of, because Matt said in a tweet, like, to trust them that they're gonna wrap everything up nicely and stuff. And I could see it where everything like is wrapped up nicely and stuff, but then it ends like on like a pseudo cliffhanger, where it's like kind of like what some of you were saying, where it was, like we're gonna take some time for ourselves, we're gonna go on these vacations, but then like when we're ready, we're gonna we're gonna get back to
That's
it. We're gonna
what I
finish
was
off.
thinking.
Yeah, we're gonna finish off, and then that's how the campaign ends.
Yeah,
where it's like
that's
it's on a
more-
hopeful note for more things to come. I think that would be a pretty
like
fitting
that,
ending.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, we'll suggest it to the writers and see if they
Send an email.
Yeah.
Before we fully wrap up, like I was saying before, I went through and I found like all the questions we'd asked before of what we could ask on wrap up thing, and I found it very funny that one of our questions was just like, Matt, tell us everything about Molly. Give us the Molly manifesto.
Release the
like
document.
The crappy thing is the one downside of Molly coming back. I think if Molly had stayed dead, we would have gotten some like proper Molly background and lore. Molly's back now. I don't think we're going to get it because I think there's still the possibility of us learning that through roleplay.
That's very true.
But no, I think we've talked a bit about kind of what questions we'd ask. I mean, we had like, what was Halas's deal? Is Yusa a gold dragon? Yeah. This one I think is actually a pretty good one. It was, what was Sam's plan for if Beth had decided to stay in Nicodranus?
Oh yeah,
way back when.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I don't know. At this point, there's just like whatever we get, I'm going to be happy with.
Yes.
This is kind of like the happy ending we got this episode, and then I don't think it's going to be like, Caleb, you confront Trent, but he killed you. Like, oh, sorry. Moving on. Who's next? Like, it's going to be, again, satisfying no matter what, I think. And hopefully it's satisfying for people, because I know a lot of people were like, no, Molly, stay gone. Which is totally valid, because I get that whole kind of finality of it, but this is also just really heartwarming and really good and exciting. It's fun. You're living in magic. Why not have this magic? Yeah.
I like the bit when Taliesin, after I think they'd wrapped, and he said something like, "This is really fun. This is really interesting because I had ideas for this character that I can now develop." And you're like, "What?
Yeah.
What ideas? Tell us." Later.
I saw some people in chat saying Molly Mock for campaign 3.
Oh wow.
That's kind of fun. I'm not sure they'd do that, but that's kind of
probably
fun.
Not. Would be.
That would be very surreal if his introduction was, "Hello, I'm Molly Mock-Teely from the Carnival of Festival Curiosities."
Like,
and
we
you know
know
people that could do with it.
Yeah.
Cheering up.
God.
Very
Definitely welcoming the last episode with an open heart and just ready for our final episode with these characters in this campaign. Definitely
looking forward to it.
Do we have any other closing thoughts, feelings, emotions about last night?
Too many to articulate, but
we could go on. We could go on and on.
Bringing us along on this journey and making this podcast so that we can actually all get this off our chests and talk to a bunch of critters and say, like, this is too much. I need to share it with somebody. So thank you, Nico, for creating What the Sheet and allowing us to do this.
Thank you, Nico.
Yeah. Thank you all for humoring me and joining me on this in this journey and stuff. And I'm so excited for. I know I'm so excited to have this podcast for the entirety of campaign 3. It's
even the build up to campaign. I'm so excited for our episodes of where we start to like
theorize.
Silhouettes.
I know it's everywhere. I know so many people have said what, like, speculation, all that. But I think we can go real hard on it.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like I said before, I've never been a part of this for when the stuff starts, and I'm so excited to.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be so
I have nothing like smart to say anymore. Not that I ever did. I'm just gonna keep repeating I'm so excited until
yeah.
I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm satisfied. I'm so grateful. This is the best. Like,
that's it.
Let's go for another hour.
Just saying that.
Yeah. We'll bring up a thesaurus and we'll just use all of the adjacent words and we'll just keep going. But guys, with all of that being said, I think we can go ahead and call this one a wrap. So, as always, thank you all so much for joining me in this amazing discussion. This may have been the longest episode we've had. Maybe we've had one that's almost as long. But this was a good one. And what an amazing turnout from chat. Thank you all so much for being here and chatting with us, hanging out, feeling these emotions that we were feeling, laughing, crying, reminiscing about this campaign and the things to come. It's truly been a wonderful journey, and I'm so thankful that we were able to all come together and experience it together in this way. So a huge thank you to everyone who was here participating, and thank you to Maya, Phil, Alana, and even Kirli, who wasn't able to be here with us today. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. As always, everyone, please don't forget to love each other. It is very important. The world needs more love in it. But most importantly, don't forget to love yourself. That is the most important thing you can do. You are worthy of love. So please also take care of yourself. Drink some water, eat some food, get plenty of rest. You deserve it, and I'm proud of you for making it this far. And so, with all of that being said, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, wherever you may be on this glorious earth, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.